We cannot actually measure their brain hidden within remote temples, dense jungles, and icy mountaintops are stories of monks who have defied science, unlocked ancient wisdom, and achieved feats that seem impossible to explain. There are tales of self-mummification, reincarnation, superhuman abilities, and spiritual journeys that challenge everything we know about the human mind and body. What secrets were they protecting, and what truths have been lost to time? The mummy of Sangha Tenzin, one of the strangest and most intriguing stories in the Buddhist world, centers on Sangha Tenzin, a monk from Himachal Pradesh in India. His mummy was discovered in the Spiti Valley, perched high in the Himalayas at an altitude where life is tough and winters are brutal. Unlike the heavily embalmed mummies of ancient Egypt, this monk's body appears to have survived the passage of time through a rare practice called self-mummification. Somehow he managed to preserve his own body while still alive, which has puzzled many observers and scientists. The exact details of Sangha Tenzin's life remain somewhat shrouded in local legends. Some historians believe he lived around 500 years ago. The story goes that he dedicated his life to deep meditation, extreme fasting, and rituals meant to preserve the body as death approached. Locals believe it was an act of great devotion, symbolizing spiritual purity and mastery over physical sensations. However, the specific knowledge he used seems to be lost in modern times, leaving us with a few scattered oral stories and the astonishing sight of his mummy. The unique conditions in Spiti's cold climate also likely helped keep Sangha Tenzin's body intact for centuries. Temperatures in this region can defeat normal decomposition by slowing bacterial growth. When he was eventually discovered, some say it was the result of earthquakes that damaged the tomb he was in. The monk appeared seated in a lotus position, eyelids partly closed, as if still in peaceful meditation. People who have seen the mummy up close note that his skin, hair, and facial features all remain remarkably preserved. Scientists and historians have studied the remains, trying to understand the monk's final days and the steps he took to transform his own body into a lasting relic. Several tests, including carbon dating, helped confirm his age, and scans of the body revealed that his internal organs were mostly gone, replaced by herbal concoctions and the gradual drying out of tissues. This rare ritual is sometimes associated with specific Buddhist practices found in regions like Japan, though evidence of it is limited in India. Tibetan monks high in the Himalayan region. Tibetan monks devote themselves to a tradition that is often associated with colorful prayer flags, spinning prayer wheels, and the iconic presence of the Dalai Lama. Tibetan Buddhism developed when Indian Buddhism linked with the ancient Bon religion native to Tibet, creating a rich tapestry of beliefs and practices. The result is a form of Buddhism that emphasizes compassion, meditation, and a special set of rituals known as Tantra. The dedicated monks who practice these teachings have gained admiration and curiosity worldwide for their spiritual depth and disciplined way of life. One of the most captivating aspects of Tibetan monasticism is how it approaches reincarnation. Certain esteemed spiritual leaders, known as lamas, are said to consciously choose to be reborn in order to continue guiding their followers. Spiritual committees spend considerable effort searching for a child believed to be the reincarnation of a deceased lama, relying on dreams, oracles, and sometimes subtle signs exhibited by the child. The best-known example is the Dalai Lama, who is recognized as the reincarnation of the Bodhisattva of compassion. Each reincarnation is identified following careful investigation, sometimes lasting years. Tibetan monasteries are also famous for their chants, elaborate ceremonies, and distinct forms of meditation. One such practice is Tamo, in which a monk generates inner heat through breath control and visualization techniques, allowing him to sit in freezing temperatures wearing minimal clothing. Scientists have studied monks who use these practices, observing them in cold Himalayan caves as they remain warm and comfortable. These feats defy common expectations of the human body, showing how mental focus can produce real physiological changes. Another iconic image of Tibetan monastic culture is the creation of sand mandalas. Massive, intricate designs, painstakingly made from colored sand. Monks spend days or weeks placing each grain of sand with extreme precision, only to destroy the mandala when it is complete. This symbolizes the Buddhist concept of impermanence and serves as a mindful reminder that all things eventually pass away. Though the Tibetan plateau is geographically remote, Tibetan Buddhism has spread across the globe largely due to the efforts of exiled monks during political upheavals in the mid-century. These monks founded important spiritual communities across Asia, Europe, and the Americas, teaching and sharing practices like compassion meditation. Today, spiritual seekers from all backgrounds study Tibetan Buddhism to learn about emptiness, rebirth, and the power of compassion. Through these practices, Tibetan monks serve as a comforting reminder that wisdom can prevail even in the face of adversity. Mystic monks of the Amazon. When most people think of monks, they might picture tranquil temples in Asia or medieval monasteries in Europe, yet the Amazon rainforest, lush and filled with winding rivers, has its own mystical traditions carried by spiritual leaders who might be called monks or shamans. These figures guide ceremonies, heal the sick with herbal remedies and maintain a deep connection to the forest's hidden realms. Their lifestyles differ from the structured routines of cloistered monks, but they share a similar focus on reaching deeper levels of awareness. The Amazon is home to countless indigenous communities, each with its own language and spiritual heritage. Many groups shape their lives around the rainforest's resources using sustainable practices honed through generations. Among these practices is the brewing of ayahuasca, a potent concoction made from the Banisteropsis capi vine and other local plants. Skilled shamans or curanderos serve as guides, preparing the brew with care and overseeing ceremonies that can last all night. For participants, drinking can bring vivid vision encounters with what they describe as spirit guides and even emotional healing. Unlike city-based traditions with official temples, these Amazonian spiritual communities consider the forest itself to be a sacred site. Their spiritual leaders do not usually shave their heads or follow written rules in the same way as monks in formal religions. Instead, they learn from elders and from the rainforest. Trees, animals, and even the rivers are respected as living teachers. Many shamans claim to communicate directly with these entities, drawing upon them for guidance in healing the sick or resolving conflicts within the community. Western scientists and spiritual seekers have increasingly turned their attention to Amazonian practices. Some researchers are investigating the biological properties of the plants used in ayahuasca brews, hoping to find new medical applications. Others are intrigued by stories of advanced horticulture and city-like ruins hidden deep within the forest. Recent studies reveal that certain sections of the Amazon once supported large organized populations. The cultural achievements of these civilizations might have been lost if not for the oral traditions preserved by local shaman. Ancient high priest tomb in Egypt. Egypt's monumental pyramids and decorated tombs have captured people's imaginations for centuries, yet new finds continue to emerge, proving there is still so much to learn about this rich civilization. One of the more striking discoveries is a 4,400-year-old tomb unveiled in Saqqara, an ancient necropolis outside Cairo. This site, untouched for millennia, belonged to a high-ranking priest and offered researchers a time capsule of Old Kingdom life. Saqqara served as a burial ground for Egyptian royalty and nobles for thousands of years, predating even the famous Valley of the Kings. The tomb in question is believed to date back to the 5th dynasty, around the reign of King Neferrer-Kakai. Inside, archaeologists found intricately painted walls portraying everyday scene, religious rites, and biographical details about the priest. The artistry provides a vivid glimpse into daily life during that era, with bright colors preserved remarkably well despite the vast span of time. Among the most impressive features are the false doors carved into the tomb's rock. Egyptians believed these doors allowed the spirit of the deceased to travel freely between the physical world and the afterlife, ensuring offerings could be received. Statues found in special niches reflect the priest's status and wealth, showcasing his family members and various symbols of royalty or religious authority. The entire structure is remarkable for its size, level of detail, and state of preservation, seemingly defying the passage of thousands of years. Experts believe the tomb may still hold more secrets. Multiple shafts within the site remain sealed or partially unexplored, leaving open the possibility of additional chambers containing belongings or even the priest's sarcophagus. While it might not garner the same level of fame as the tomb of Tutankhamun, each new discovery in Saqqara offers fresh insights into Old Kingdom beliefs and Anderari customs. These finds direct our attention to the civilization's vast network of deities, sacred rituals, and the high level of organization required to build and maintain such burial complexes. Unlike monastic traditions that revolve around meditation and vows of simplicity, ancient Egyptian priesthood integrated deeply with governance, science, and architecture. Priests advised pharaohs, presided over elaborate ceremonies, and not only performed religious roles but also took part in daily administration. In some ways, they were stewards of Egyptian knowledge, keeping track of astronomical observations, healing practices, and moral codes that shaped culture for millennia. The discovery of this tomb, then, is about more than one individual's burial. It's a gateway to understanding Egypt's broader societal and religious framework. As more artifacts are revealed, archaeologists may continue to piece together how beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife shaped one of history's most iconic civilizations. The Mahayana monks within Buddhism. Various paths to enlightenment have emerged, shaped by cultural, historical, and doctrinal differences. Mahayana Buddhism stands out for its expansive approach to salvation. Rather than focusing solely on personal enlightenment, Mahayana monks take the Bodhisattva vow, an altruistic commitment to delay their own nirvana until all beings can be liberated from suffering. This perspective brings compassion to the forefront, emphasizing social engagement alongside meditative practice. Mahayana beliefs grew primarily in East Asia, particularly in countries like China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Thinkers and spiritual leaders from these regions contributed commentaries and philosophical texts that highlighted the importance of empathy and working for the sake of others. One such text is the Lotus Sutra, which portrays the Buddha as a figure of infinite compassion. Monks often study this and other sutras to deepen their insight, recite mantras, and build mental focus, all while remembering their vow to help all living creatures. Daily life for a Mahayana monk can vary depending on the monastery. In some places, monks follow strict schedules of chanting, meditation, and community service, often taking time to welcome laypeople who come for guidance or to seek blessings. In other local, especially those influenced by Zen or Chan traditions, emphasis on long meditation retreats is common. Though these differences exist, the idea of selfless service unifies Mahayana practice. Monks might teach children, assist local charities, or engage in peace-building activities. Their robes, shaved heads, and humble demeanor serve as symbols of their efforts to live simply and compassionately. Earning a living or attracting funding is often simpler than it used to be because of increased global awareness about Buddhism. Mahayana temples sometimes hold open houses or educational programs allowing visitors to learn about meditation and the core teaching. Many people attend these events to reduce stress, explore spirituality, or simply satisfy their curiosity. Slowly, Mahayana monks have become cultural ambassadors, bridging Eastern philosophical perspectives with Western societies seeking alternatives to materialistic lifestyles. One hallmark of Mahayana thinking is the teaching that enlightenment is not an unreachable goal meant only for ascetics who retreat in caves. Instead, everyday people with jobs, families, and social responsibilities can also follow the path step by step. Many monks encourage lay followers to cultivate mindfulness, patience, and empathy in their relationships and professional lives, showing that spirituality need not be confined to temple walls. By supporting others in practical ways, Mahayana monks believe they are collectively raising global consciousness, a mission they see as essential in modern times. Zen monks. Zen Buddhism, an influential branch of Mahayana, is often associated with tranquil gardens, elegant tea ceremonies, and the intriguing practice of can study. Originating in China as Chan Buddhism, Zen spread to Japan and beyond, capturing the imagination of people far from its Asian roots. Zen monks are known for their emphasis on direct experience and mindfulness in every action. All aspects of monastic life, from cleaning the grounds to eating meals, become opportunities to remain present and aware. Central to Zen practice is zazen, or seated meditation. Monks gather in a special hall, sitting upright on cushions for extended periods while observing the flow of thoughts. Rather than trying to block out their mind, they learn to let thoughts come and go without attaching to them. This disciplined approach aims to cultivate insight into the nature of reality, prompting moments of clarity known as satori. Such experiences are said to reveal truths beyond ordinary logical reasoning. Another defining element of Zen monasticism is engagement with ko, which are paradoxical riddles or anecdotes that challenge conventional thinking. A classic example is what is the sound of one hand clapping. The monk might meditate on this puzzle for days, weeks, or longer, focusing intently on the question until a breakthrough occurs. The goal is not to solve the can in a typical sense, but to break free from habitual logical processes, leading to a direct experiential understanding. Teachers often discuss these moments of realization in careful private interviews with each monk. The structure of a Zen temple or monastery usually supports a balance of meditation work, assignments, and study. While novices might spend hours scrubbing floors or preparing simple meals, they are encouraged to approach these tasks with the same mindfulness applied in meditation. Doing so trains them to see every moment as an opportunity for awakening. Silence is frequently observed, helping to keep attention anchored in the present. Westerners were widely introduced to Zen in the 20th century via books, lectures, and traveling teachers. Over time, Zen communities have grown internationally, each adapting to local conditions. Some maintain strict routines modeled on Japanese or Chinese monasteries, while others integrate more flexible practices suited to modern urban life, yet all adhere to the guiding principle. Enlightenment emerges when one fully engages with the here and now. Zen monks, with their calm presence and unwavering commitment to uncovering deeper truths, continue to inspire spiritual seekers across cultural boundary. The meditating monk in Mongolia. Strolling through a remote region of Mongolia, you might not expect to stumble upon an ancient monastery or a surprising figure frozen in time, yet in recent history there was a story of a 200-year-old monk discovered in a state that looked startlingly close to living meditation. The body had been stolen from its resting place by a man who allegedly planned to sell it on the black market. When authorities retrieved it, they found something extraordinary. The monk appeared to be seated in the traditional lotus position, as though immersed in deep contemplation rather than deceased. Local Buddhist leaders hesitated to refer to him as dead, proposing that he might still be in a rare meditative state called tukdom. Some Buddhist traditions teach that highly realized practitioners can slow or halt the usual processes of decay through intense concentration. Although such tales are often met with skepticism by medical professionals, the possibility of advanced meditative abilities captures the public's imagination. People marvel at how anyone living or otherwise could maintain such a posture over centuries. Despite the local community's spiritual explanation, scientists and forensic experts performed analyses on the monks' remains. They discovered the body was remarkably well preserved, probably aided by Mongolia's dry, cold climate. The thought of a centuries-old bodymaster in a maintained meditative posture challenges assumptions about what the human mind and body can achieve, even if the monk was Indeed, deceased the way he was found hints at the lengths certain spiritual followers might go to in order to maintain composure and devotion until life's final moment. Beyond the question of whether he was alive or dead, the monk's story carries cultural and religious importance. It intersects with broader discussions about Buddhism's role in Mongolian history, long suppressed during parts of the 20th century. Mongolia's Buddhist institutions have been reviving in recent decades. A discovery like this resonates with devotees who see the find as validation of ancient teachings on mind-body unity and spiritual mastery. Temple communities sometimes view the phenomenon as a miraculous example of enduring faith. Monastic life at Byeosa Temple, nestled on the slopes of Gumjeongon Mountain near Bususan, South Korea, sits Byeomyeosa Temple, a respected spiritual haven known for its harmonious blend of nature and tradition. The temple, founded over 1,300 years ago, offers an immersive look into Korean Buddhism and the disciplined lives of its monks. Visitors often describe Byeomyeosa's atmosphere as both peaceful and energizing, thanks to the gentle hum of chanting and the cool mountain breezes rustling through tall tree. Monastic life at Pomyeosa begins in the wee hours of the morning, typically around 3 or 4 a.m. The first activity is chanting. Monks file into the main hall to recite sutras and pay respect to the Buddha. This ritual sets a contemplative tone for the day, reminding practitioners to stay focused on compassion, discipline, and introspection. After chanting, monks proceed to seated meditation sessions aimed at stabilizing their minds, letting go of wandering thoughts, and concentrating on the present moment. Once morning practice is complete, the community gathers for a simple but nourishing meal. Korean temple cuisine is largely vegetarian, featuring seasonal vegetables, tofu, rice, and soups. During meal times, monks practice mindfulness by eating in silence, conscious of each bite and grateful for the food. This approach fosters a sense of responsibility toward nature and reduces waste as each monk carefully manages their portion. After breakfast, monks typically perform tasks that maintain the temple grounds, from gardening to repair. Everyone's duty rotates, so over time each monk learns to care for all aspects of temple upkeep. Education is another key element at Byeomyeosa. Monks immerse themselves in Buddhist teaching, studying classic texts and engaging in philosophical discussions. Younger monks often learn from senior monks, forming a multi-generational bond that passes down traditions intact. While strictly monastic study is the norm, Byeomyeosa also hosts laypeople for short-term retreats. People yearning for respite from city life can join programs to taste the monastic lifestyle. Meditation, tea ceremonies, and volunteer tasks. Perhaps one of the most meaningful aspects of life at Byeomyeosa is the sense of community. Monks see themselves as part of a spiritual family, supporting each other in their journey to enlightenment. The temple's physical design supports communal living dormitories instead of isolated cells, communal dining areas, and meditation halls for shared practice. This communal approach aims to dissolve ego-driven behaviors, teaching humility and empathy in a rapidly modernizing South Korea. Places like Byeomyeosa Temple maintain a link to ancient values. The monks who reside here model a life of simplicity and dedication to others, a powerful counterbalance to the high-speed lifestyle found in surrounding cities. Whether one visits for a day or a longer stay, Byeomyeosa's environment feels like a gentle invitation to slow down, breathe deeply, and appreciate each breath. Sodus of Mount Kyash, stretching high above the Tibetan plateau at over 21,000 foot, Mount Kyash reigns as a peak sacred to 4 major religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and the Bon faith of Tibet. For Hindus, it is revered as the home of Lord Shiva. For Tibetan Buddhists, it's linked to the cosmic figure Demchok. Despite its lofty altitude and rugged terrain, the mountain has never been successfully climbed, possibly out of reverence rather than merely physical difficulty. Over the centuries, countless pilgrims, monks, and mendicants have journeyed to the base of Kailash, sometimes completing a ritual circumambulation around the mountain that can take days. One group often associated with this region is the ascetic order known as sadhus. In Hindu culture, a sadhu is a holy person who renounces worldly pursuits to focus on spiritual goals. Many sadhus around Mount Kyash and nearby locations follow extreme methods of prayer, fasting, and self-denial that to an outside observer border on superhuman. It's not unheard of for some to wear almost nothing in sub-zero temperatures, instead relying on yogic techniques like Tamo breathing, similar to the Tibetan tradition, to generate warmth within their own bodies. Most sadhus live minimalistic lives, viewing extremes as opportunities to test their faith and power of concentration. A sadhu might meditate in one spot for hours, days, or even weeks, braving thin air, icy winds, and isolation from modern conveniences. Stories abound of hermit-like figures who survive on minimal food or claim to live only on water or air. These remarkable feats draw pilgrims seeking blessings, spiritual wisdom, or cures for ailments they believe ordinary doctors cannot mend. Mount Kyash itself seems to amplify a mystical energy for many visitors, fueling stories about enlightened beings residing in hidden caves or ancient sages who have never left even after physical death. Modern hikers trekking in the region occasionally report unexplained lights or deep calm feelings. Scientists, while focused on geographical or climatological studies, remain intrigued by local legends describing supernatural events, yet the interest rarely leads to thorough investigation, partly out of respect for the mountains Sanctity. The forgotten Bhikkhuni monks. It may surprise some people that women have played a vital role in Buddhism since the very beginning. The term bhikkhuni refers to fully ordained female monks in the Buddhist tradition. While male monks have often taken center stage in popular culture, bhikkhuni orders have existed for over 2,000 years, tracing their roots back to the time of the Buddha himself. Despite their ancient origins, these female monks faced countless obstacles throughout history that nearly erased their existence in certain parts of the Buddhist world. Bhikkhuni ordination began with Mahapajapati Gautami, the Buddha's foster mother and aunt. She approached the Buddha to request the establishment of a women's monastic order. After some deliberation, he set down specific rules that allowed women to join. This was a groundbreaking move for its time, as it provided women with formal recognition to study, meditate, and teach. Yet, even though the Buddha himself approved this path, many societies were not ready to accept equal opportunities for women. Over centuries, political shifts and cultural biases made it difficult for women's monasteries to flourish in some regions. Bhikkhuni ordination ceremonies halted altogether, leading to a belief that the female monastic lineage had died out or become invalid. Fortunately, not all branches of Buddhism lost their bhikkhuni heritage, and in certain Asian countries, a small community of fully ordained women managed to endure. In recent decades, there has been a growing effort to revive the bhikkhuni order in countries where it was lost, like Thailand and Sri Lanka. Modern women seeking to follow the Buddha's teachings to the fullest have petitioned governments and religious councils to recognize their right to receive full ordination. These efforts have been met with mixed reactions. Some monastic communities happily support the movement, while others resist change due to long-held traditions and